Everyone has a story to tell. Welcome to DingoTalk, where we explore the experiences that make us who we are. Here's your host, Carlo Guadagnino.
What's going on, Chuckleheads? I am Carlo Guadagnino. This is Dingo Talk. My guest this week is the starting quarterback for the Alma Scouts, or Alma Scots, and the founder of QBs v Cancer, Carter St. John. Carter, thank you for joining me.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I know we've talked a little bit, so it's good to actually be on the show now.
Absolutely, I'm glad that we could get together, and I got a lot to talk about. I want to talk a little bit about football, and then I want to talk about the organization as well. So now that you're in your senior year, let's take you back 4 years. Why Alma?
So to start out with, I guess like I always was a basketball kid growing up, and then I had some success with football in high school, and then so recruiting I guess was a little slow because I always wanted to be a basketball kid, a basketball player growing up, and so eventually being a 5'10", not super athletic guard that can't really shoot overly well, I knew something was kind of coming to the end, and football has always been kind of came more natural, and so that's where I realized I wanted to play football, and so. Recruiting was a little slow. Pretty much the entire time it was between Wabash and Indiana, and Alma kind of came in a little bit just because my dad played basketball at Kalamazoo, which is an MIAA opponent. And so I'd kind of grown up around the MIAA because another one of his old coaches coached at Olivet. And so I went to like 2 or 3 Olivet basketball camps during the summer when I was young. So I was used to like Michigan and just the MIAA in general. And then it just so happens that my dad's best friend went to Alma, who he also roomed with Coach Couch for like a semester or two. And so that was kind of the mutual connection. I sent my film over to him, and I guess he liked it just a little bit, enough to let me come up to Alma. And so it's been great ever since.
Now, as an active player, how do you balance the success that you've had individually and the success the team's had with continuing to stay motivated? And I mean, I was looking over the stats: 65% completion percentage last year, moving into second all time on the career passing, moving into first all time on the career touchdowns. How do you keep yourself engaged?
Yeah, I mean, I've always been taught, especially from my dad, just growing up, individual success comes from the team success, right? So, like, if you have a great year as a player, but your team goes 2-8, whatever, you're not winning many games, no one's gonna care. You're
Right.
just gonna kind of like, I remember people like my favorite quarterback's Matthew Stafford, and so a bunch of people were calling Matt or whatever Stat Padford, something like that, like these
Mm-hmm.
betting stats, just because they're getting killed. The Lions are getting. I'm a Lions fan, by the way, but the Lions were getting killed, so he was just throwing for 800 yards, whatever. And so nobody cares about that. The people that like people you'll start to get individual attention as long as your team succeeds. So everything comes with the team success. So that's what I always put forth. Like I don't care. We could run for 800 yards and I could throw for negative 15 yards and I'd still be happy as long as we won. I mean, I wouldn't be overly thrilled with my performance because I expect way better of that. But I'd be perfectly happy handing the ball off 15 or 50 times a game, and as long as we're going 10-0 and winning games, I don't care. So that's the biggest thing.
Talk to us a little bit about the culture and the atmosphere at Alma. Now, I know there's some, Coach Couch and his and the kilt. That's a big one. But talk to us a little
Yeah.
bit more about the culture and the atmosphere when you're at a game day or just in general.
Yeah, so I'll start at game days. Bulky Field's awesome. It's normally always packed. The student section is right there. A lot of the athletes, I think almost like I don't know the exact percentage, but it's like 50 to 60% of everyone on campus is an athlete.
Mhm.
And so like athletes just in general, I feel like support other athletes. It's like the basketball teams. I know the track teams are there a lot. Just a lot of the baseball guys are there a lot. And they're just like they're on the field, kind of behind the end zones, just kind of hanging out and watching. So that's always super cool. Like when you run in a touchdown and you're right there with like all the guys from other teams, it's super cool. So I think that's something really special. They have bleachers out there, and obviously, like I said, the support from the community is great.
Mhm.
Bulky's always really packed. And then just kind of the team in general. I think it's like super close knit, and I think it like you'll see that a lot in Division 3. It's just like a lot of the places you're at aren't necessarily like in the biggest of cities. And so all you have to do in your town is like to hang out with your buddies. And I think that's huge with Alma. Like, Alma's not like the most beautiful spot. Like you got Mount Pleasant like 15 to 20 minutes away. There are spots to go, but like what you're doing is hanging out with your buddies, like doing random stuff. And so I think that's the biggest thing. I think Alma really prides ourselves in building relationships. And so through that, it's just that the culture just kind of builds itself.
Now, talk to me a little bit about as a Division 3 guy, and there were some rule changes. I'm not going to ask you much about the playoff expansion. The more or less the iPads. Now, did you guys utilize the iPads? Was that a change? Did it help? Was that helpful for you as a quarterback to be able to go and look at things while you were on the sideline?
Yeah, I think it's I liked it. I mean, obviously we were allowed to do it in high school, so it's kind of just throwing it back a little bit. But I liked it and didn't like it at some points because like if I mess something up, then Coach Reetma can go over like what the heck are you doing? And I'm like, oh. And normally, like last year, if we didn't have or 2 years ago when we didn't have the iPads, I could kind of BS my way out of it and kind of maybe lie a little bit and just say, oh, I saw this, something like that. But now it's good. I mean, it definitely helps. Like different plays you can see like, all right, they did this, why didn't you do this, whatever, and you can just get, and then you're more comfortable going into the next drive knowing that they will do something. And so then you can change from there and make a different read, something like that. So it's definitely helpful. I like it a lot. I mean, it's like watching film on the sideline, and so I like it. I think it's great.
Now, is there a team that you look like you get? I know every team, it's a 10-game season, so you got everybody in Division 3 specifically, college football in general, you get up for a game, right? Is there a game that gets you up a little bit more, an MIAA game or a non-con opponent?
I think I'm just excited for the next game. You know, whatever one it is. I guess I will say like Kalamazoo, just because my dad went there, and so like we have a rivalry, just from that, and so I think that's a fun game for me, just because of my dad. But like I said, like kind of just like with the new playoff, like every game matters, so you
Right.
have to win. You have to win. So like it doesn't matter who you're playing. I think, yeah, there was. I think I learned that like a loss to North, like a 1 point loss to North Central gets you less points than a win against like a really bad team or something like that. And so at the end of the
Right.
day, all it is winning because as long as you win, you further your chance to play the next week. And so I think that's the biggest is just being able to play the next game is exciting.
And then for those guys that are maybe seniors this year or going to be seniors going into 2025 in high school, what would you tell them the importance or significance of Division 3 football is?
Yeah, I think it's just awesome. Like I don't think it like Division 3 gets hated on per se, but like a lot of people kind of have there's just this a stereotype, I guess, um, that people think it's not as good football. I think Division 3 has really good football players, great coaches, and so I think like don't be afraid to go to Division 3. Obviously, you're not allowed to get athletic scholarships, and so it's all academic. So you be a good student. I guess I can say that to start off. It's just like in order to get into these good schools, you have to be able to. Make up for some of the lack of athletic scholarships or more academic scholarships. But like there, it's still great football no matter where you go. Some of like the only difference I think is kind of just the size, like the stereotypical Division 1 size. You're going to be a lot bigger, probably faster, but like Division 3 players are like just as smart, just as talented. So it's just kind of the size piece that don't be afraid to go Division 3 because a lot of people will meet like their best friends there too. So.
And the similarities are, you guys have we Division 3 still does spring ball. You still put pads on. It's still a football, and it's still 100 yards. It's just
Yep.
Division 1 guy might be 6'3", runs a 4.4. Division 3 guy might be 6 foot, runs a 4.7.
Yep.
Right.
Exactly. Yep.
So that being said, before we get into the Fast Five, we're going to talk about uh, your brand, your cause that you've started, QBs versus cancer. First off, how did that come about? Why?
Yeah. So Alma has, I think it's every 4 years, we put on an Alma Cares game, where the money is donated to Angel Wings, which is a charity based in Alma. And so, what we do, like everyone was getting, given a jersey, you'd had to raise, I think, like $50 or $60 per person. But you got to put like someone's name on the back of the jersey. I actually have one sitting over here. Should I go grab it, do you think,
If
or
you
should
want
I
to,
just?
yeah.
All right, I can show it off to the camera, show in 4 years what everyone will be getting into. This one's actually for it's my dad. The coaches gave it to my dad, for his dad. So my grandfather, that was another inspirational piece, but this is kind of what it looks like. Like you get to put, so it's for my dad.
Hmm.
And so it's for my grandpa. That's why it says dad, but it's my dad's jersey technically. So it's pink because I think the unofficial Cancer color is purple, but Albion's our rival, so we're not going to wear purple. And so, but yeah, so Alma Cares, you make 60, 50 to $60. You get that one of those jerseys. You get to put whatever name on the back of someone that you know that's been affected by cancer. And so just me being there, I saw all of my teammates kind of have to pick, just like myself, 3 to 4 different people. For me, it was my grandfather. He passed away cancer. I think it was my freshman year. And then one of my best friends in high school got it in the middle of junior year. And so I haven't seen him a ton because he always had to fly to New York to get treatment. And then one of my basketball coaches, he was the one that coached at Olivet, had about, I think he's on like round 50 of chemo or something. So he's had it for a while and still fighting. And then my grandma had it recently and she was able to beat it too. So just like seeing a bunch of people have to choose. And then after our year, my sophomore year, when we beat Mount Union, like that was kind of when Alma got put on the map and I was getting a lot of press stuff. And so I was like, you know what, let's do something bigger than myself and bigger than football. Football will end in 2 years. So let's go out and try to make something that lasts a lot longer than just my football career. And so that was the main thing. And then I knew I wanted to do something with cancer just from that Alma Cares game. But I think like our success as a team was able to and let me like build off of something and do something better than just play football.
And then, so how did you go from it being, um, you starting with the camps and working with kids and getting them involved? How did you get it to more of a broad and how did that go about with the schools reach or the players reaching back out? Was it kind of a flood of emails of like, hey, like I want in on this? Because I mean, like you said, everybody has somebody
Mhm.
or multiple people that's been affected.
Yep. So what we do, I guess break down the whole thing. But what I do personally is I like do the training sessions, $25 an hour. I'll do like about 50 minutes on the field and then about 10 to 15 like in the class, like on the whiteboard, drawing up plays, drawing up
Okay.
coverages, stuff like that. We do that at the new Alma facility most of the time. I'm back home in Indianapolis, so I'm trying to set a few up here. But sorry about um but what I do in the off season, normally it's over Christmas break and I already did it, but I try to reach out to every single Division 3 quarterback. A lot of the times it's starters and like the top 3 on the depth chart that I see if someone played whatever a few games. I'll reach out to them, and then so I reach out to everyone, give them a little bit of background, tell them what it's going to look like, tell them what we did last year, stuff like that. And so they kind of either say they're in or they're not, and then if they did say they want more information, now I'm in the process of like reaching back out to guys like, hey, you said you might have been interested over winter break. Are you still interested?
Right.
And if they are, like good luck to you. You can set up your own training sessions. This is how I did it. This is how I encourage you to do it. Um, and then we'll get the occasional, like if I miss somebody, we'll get the occasional email that says they want to be a part of it. And so then we go from there. Do the exact same thing here. This is what is expected of you. This is what I did to try to help. And yeah, so that's kind of how it's all gone so far.
Now, what is the long term? Obviously, you want to continue with this. Is there somebody that you have that's behind you at Alma or that is working with you with this? That when you graduate, they're going to continue more of the active player, and you're going to be able to be kind of in your adult life and doing other things, and still have this connection.
Yeah, that's kind of another thing I'm trying to do this year. I haven't talked to the freshmen at Alma about it yet because I'm still trying to teach them the playbook so far. So
Right.
they got a lot of stuff going on. So I'm not gonna bother them with all this right now. But I think that's definitely something I'm gonna have a conversation with because we have three freshman quarterbacks coming into Alma right now, and they're all great. So I'm going to be able to talk to them and just see if they want to do it. We also have a sophomore on um, the roster too. I'll talk to him about it. So, whoever's interested, I'm not opposed to getting outside of Alma. Like if a young guy that helps out wants to take it over, by all means, take it over. But I'm going to give it up to Alma guys first, and maybe if we can have this ongoing tradition of having someone from Alma run it, that'd be great. But if not, then no worries, and hopefully someone from outside Alma would love to take it on.
Well, I got to give maybe a little insight on how kind of we got in. Well, I got involved. I
Mhm.
kind of saw you guys started posting. It's a great cause. I have family members that have also been affected by cancer. So it was one of those things I just wanted to keep. I wanted to spam those retweets, and then a conversation started during your game with River Falls between me and a couple North Central people, and we started going back and forth, and that snowballed into the North Central fans. And thank God that they could afford to do this, because I wasn't putting a dollar up for every point that team was scoring last year. But the North Central guys, that was kind of their thing. And there's a group of us now. We're starting a new show, and we have also talked about our because we're all from different regions. How are we going to kind of piggyback off of what we tried to do? So I don't know what the plan is. I know North Central is going to do North Central things, and
Yeah.
that's fine. They have an army of people. But for our little group, I think we're going to do a similar thing. I've been thinking about doing it for Bethany, doing the same thing. How many points they score, we'll donate every week. So that's kind of my plan. I've talked to a couple other guys. I know there's a Utica guy that's thinking about getting in. There's an Augustana guy. There's, like I said, the North Central guys. And then we're working on our Mary Hardin Baylor guy, which we think that would be great. So, is there any way for people to I know there's a website,
Hmm.
qbsforcancer.com, right?
Yeah.
Is there any other thing that somebody that's interested in helping or getting involved, is there any other way that they can help or do anything for you to make it a little easier for you?
Yeah, quarterbacksversuscancer.com is the website. So it has all the information on there. You can sign up for training sessions. You can just donate money, stuff like that. You can buy T-shirts, anything like that. I think that's the biggest thing. And then oh yeah,
Yep.
there it is. Um, they're pretty comfortable, and I guess I'll give a heads up. They run a little bit small. So if you ask for, if you buy a T-shirt, just uh, you know, maybe go a size up. But I think that's the biggest thing. Maybe if anyone's watching out there, I think the biggest thing, like it's kind of difficult to get guys to help out. Like I know it's kind of a time commitment, but just if they want to help out, like I'm more than willing to have a conversation with guys and like I said, tell you all the expectations about things. And once like you get the ball kind of rolling, I think it gets really easy from there. And so you can also ask any of the guys that had helped out last year. And I think it's pretty easy once you get the ball rolling. The first little part might be a little more difficult, but once you get rolling and have some connections with coaches and working with high school kids, I think it's pretty easy from there.
Now, and I guess I should ask that, the training sessions, they're strictly for like your 9 through 12, or are you going all the way down to like your youth athletes as well?
I do a little bit of both. I mainly stick with like high school kids,
Mhm.
just because they're able to drive. It's a little bit easier to set that up. They can come to Alma, a large group of them, or sometimes maybe I'll go to a different spot to work out with them. But then there are a few like middle school kids in my hometown that I've worked out with, like just like when I was in high school, or just like showing them how to throw and like drills I do and stuff like that. And so they're like little neighborhood kids, but now it's kind of turned into like now they're playing quarterback, and maybe they have buddies that play quarterback, so stuff like that. And so like I've done a few middle school ones. It's a little bit different because I love like talking X's and O's and like okay, the safety now they're in cover three versus the cover two, whatever, and breaking down like okay, here's what you should do versus everything. Whereas now it's like okay, take your arm and throw, but they're pretty advanced for their age, so it's fun to work out with them. But I mainly stick with high schoolers. But like I said, what I do doesn't have to be what anyone else does.
Right.
If somebody else, other people that are training want to do more middle school aged or even younger, by all means, um, do whatever works best for you. So
All right. Now, We're gonna go to the fast five. It has nothing to do with football. It has nothing to do. It's just you. It's just you and how you feel.
Okay.
If you could live anywhere in the world, where would it be and why?
Oh, that's see, I love Indianapolis. I love Alma, but I don't know. I haven't like decided where I want to live after. I think I'm going to go into coaching, and so wherever I can get a job, and that's my why.
Well,
Whoever will
that
hire me.
that goes into my next question. What is the plan when you graduate? Coaching.
Yeah, so I'm studying business analytics, but just like realizing how much I love football and as it comes to an end, like how much I'm gonna miss it. Like just I want to be able to like I guess make a career out of it. And so that's yeah, I think the plan is to go into coaching, find a GA spot, and I think what I'm gonna do is go to grad school, because a lot of schools will help as long as you're a GA pay for grad school. So if I want to continue coaching, I just did it for 2 years. If not, I just got my master's paid for, and so now I'm in a great spot for either one. So it'll just cost me 2 years, but that's probably the plan right now.
Now, have you talked to Coach Couch?
I talked to Coach Couch a little bit, but it's mostly Coach Rietma. He has a lot of coaching connections, and so he set me up with a few people. So
All right. Uh, that question doesn't apply to you because you're in school. If you weren't in school, I guess if you didn't choose to go to school, what would you have done? Have you ever thought about
no, I haven't going to school because
it?
I always wanted to play like a sport, and I guess going to school goes along right with going playing sports, and so that's probably what I always planned on going to school.
What's the best compliment you've ever got?
Um, I don't know. I think I enjoy people like complimenting me on like a my quick release or like a like how I think about the game, I
Okay.
guess. And so maybe I guess that's for football. I mean, I don't think people tell me how tall I am or anything like that. I'm not the most beautiful guy, whatever. I don't know.
On
I
the
don't,
other side of compliments, and I have a feeling that you're going to pull this one as quick as you can. What's the best insult you've ever gotten?
like something that I thought was funny, like
Yeah,
when they
like
said it to
somebody
me.
said it to you, but you thought like, "Oh, that was a good one."
I don't know, actually. I don't. Because I guess I mean like on the field, like I don't trash talk much, and I don't
Okay.
think there's much trash talking going on. Because I feel like once if you initiate it, you're gonna get it back.
Right.
Um, and so I don't think I get many. I mean, not that I can. Maybe I just don't listen when people insult me, and so maybe I should do a better job of that. But I don't think there's like something like coming straight off to my mind that people have said to me. So I don't know. That's a tough one.
And then one last time before so what are you when we talk about the 2025 Alma team as we sit here today? Obviously, guys, you guys haven't gone to we're just out of spring ball. I think everybody's pretty much home now, right? It's
Yeah.
semester's over. So the next thing's camp. What's the goal for you before you get to camp? And then what's the goal from camp to week one?
Yeah, so just until we get to camp, I think it's just building relationships. A lot of my teammates live in Michigan. I'm in Indiana. And so what I try to do is Coach Couch has actually challenged the entire team to make two phone calls to a teammate each week, which doesn't sound hard at all. But like once you get into the job and everything, it gets a little more difficult.
Yeah.
But like it's going from, me being a senior now to like I want to be able to call like all the freshman defensive linemen. I want to be able to call the freshman linebackers, people that I won't, because in camp you're split pretty much offense and defense. So I want to be able to have the closest relationships with my teammates as I can going into camp, and so I think that's a big thing for me. And not only talking to freshmen coming in, but also guys that I've been with, just catching up. And then the goal in camp, I think, is just just to be as polished as you can as a team. Regardless, I want to be able to help our defense to get better. I
Mm-hmm.
hope they help me to get better. So I think just the end goal is just always being ready for games, because our first game is going to be a big one for us. So need to, and like I said, every single game, every single week is a big one if you want to get into the playoffs nowadays. So we don't have any like lax. So we play, our out of conference games, and we're going to win by 90 each. Nope. Now it's like, all right, we got to
Yep.
play well if we even think we're going to have a shot to win. So.
And then the last one before it's the second to last question, but what is your message for, could be your teammates, could be coach, could be the Alma community. What is your message for this year for your, I mean, it's kind of like you kind of hinted to it. You're at that point where you're looking at after football ends, you don't want football to end. So you want to get into coaching. This is kind of the last ride. This is kind of it for the trip. So what's your message to your teammates, your coaches, and the community?
Yeah, I don't know. It's not over yet, but I'll already thank them, just like Coach Couch, all the coaching staff for taking me in, and helping me be my best, and my teammates thank for putting up with all my crap I do, whatever, anything like that. And so I appreciate hanging out with them, getting super close to them, and just the community being able to embrace us as a team, through our highs and our lows. So it's been great. I love Alma, and everything that comes with it.
And then last question, I ask everybody this, you're basically going to become the interviewer and the interviewee. Was there a question you were expecting me to ask? And if so, how would you have answered it?
I think maybe I would have expected you to ask, like, what are the plans, not just like the future, but just for this year for quarterbacks versus cancer. And so I think this year, last year we raised about $7,500 as a unit. And so I'm hoping to hopefully double that.
Okay.
And so hoping to double, the amount of quarterbacks that participated, just thinking bigger, and being able to grow, as a group. And so that's what the biggest thing is. And again, like I said, the biggest thing is we just need more help with the quarterbacks. If we want to double the amount of money, like, yes, obviously I want to double however many training sessions I had, but I also want maybe have 2 or 3 more quarterbacks that help out, per person that, can now help us raise and reach new heights. So I think that's the one thing I thought you would ask is about this coming year. Obviously, with me graduating, I want to be able to find someone to take over again, but just for this kind of short term, be able to hopefully double everything and, get bigger. So yeah.
Well, and we hope that we can do whatever we can to help you. And I'm sure, Frank and the guys in the huddle and D3.com, they're gonna do the same thing. So I want to say thank you very much for taking the time. I'm glad that, the power's on and there's no storms came through. It was a little dicey this morning. I read your message yesterday and then I woke up and it's coming down and I went, all right, well, I'm not even going to look. We'll just go with it. And sun came out at 4:00 and we were good to go. So, but I want to say thank you very much. Good luck this season. Any way that we can help, we're going to do everything we can. And for those of you sticking around, we'll be right back.
Thanks for checking out this episode of Dingo Talk. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe. For more info and to contact the show, you can find us on Twitter @DingoTalk.